So I'll talk about one of my most notable projects I've done in Lollypop Design Studio. So this client was from Singapore, and she has a medical product, which is a chatbot in the form of a chatbot. So her mission or her goal when she came to Lollipop was to test few features, which she already had tested in the Southeast Asian countries. Now she wants to test it for India because she is going to come to India and launch it in India and all the hospitals. Now, this product is basically a messaging platform for doctors. Okay, it's named BotMD. It provides information on drugs, drug interactions, medical calculators, guidelines, protocols. Basically, what doctors keep as books and information and which they have to recall, study throughout their medical studying journey. How do you remember all that, or how do you quickly access it? I know there is a internet, there is a website, but if you were on the phone and also you had to communicate that with other doctors quickly, how would that happen? There is no product that exists right now, and she has captured the Singaporean market. Many hospitals are using her product. So she came and she wanted to do a user testing in 3 to 4 hospitals around Karnataka. And what she wanted to do is she wanted a team of two, one UX researcher and one UX UI designer. So I was the UX UI designer, one researcher. Her name's Prithvi. Yeah. And so the objective was to test three features. One is a quick commands feature, teach the bot feature, and search feature. So the thing is, now that we have an understanding of what her goal was, we had to figure out what kind of doctors we were to test it on. Now, the older generation of doctors will say no, and they are not in that, you could say, target group who would be open to using a medical product or even an app. If you see, even in the older generations, are very receptive to using products. So we targeted basically upcoming doctors who are very well versed with technology, who want to get things done quickly, who want to find a more efficient way of doing things. So yeah, we found medical residents, independent consultants, junior doctors, and also how tech savvy they are is medium to high. And they mostly use like WhatsApp, Messenger, Telegram, and they use the platform Medscape to get all the queries done. Now, from these three products, we could dissect a pattern that they have keep seeing in WhatsApp, Messenger, and Telegram. Now the question comes, why? Why these three main products? Let's come the assumptions, okay? Uh, so WhatsApp and Facebook are the bare minimum apps we find on almost every smartphone of current day and age. Okay. Now the generation is more acquainted with using internet for a variety of reasons. Okay, as more services have moved from an offline to an online platform, right? Now all hospitals are doing it. It is not efficient to keep a file of a patient. If that file goes, the patient's record is gone. How do you preserve that if the patient keeps coming back? Coming from this entire understanding of digitalization of hospital, these are the few assumptions we made. Based on that, then we had to figure out how do we conduct it. Now, I know research is something that people might just go and ask questionnaire, but there are stages to it. There is a pre-testing questionnaire that before you ask them, there's a testing questionnaire and there is a post-testing questionnaire. So the pre-testing questionnaire is before you basically even begin the research, you need to ask them certain things like their age, designation, clinical years of experience, what smartphones they use, Android or iOS, messaging platforms, sources or references they use for medical information, and what they use for storing catalog. And then the middle stage is the testing questionnaire, the main testing that how do we conduct it. So we had a set of flows that we wanted them to do, but also keep it very open for them to try and use it. So these are the couple of things that we wanted them to access in a certain way, and there are different scenarios. And with every scenario, we tell them that, hey, there's a certain set of features. We want you to accomplish this goal through this scenario. Can you do it? And that scenario has a design pattern, right? So how it happened was, if you could see here, is using a screen sharing product on the phone. We would give it to the doctor, and on the Mac we would record his using. And as the doctor is using it, we record all the sessions, and we could see certain things that they could resonate with, certain things was not working. And just after every session for that day, we have written it all down, and we would ultimately synthesize it into a consumable format of what our findings were. And if there is a certain, I would say, certain patterns that you see that is common across board, that's a very good thing that we say, okay, this is a problem prevalent among all. Then we had to basically prioritize between high effort, high impact, low effort, low impact, and high priority and low priority. And once that was done, we could, and then this is synthesis basically. There were 12 doctors, and these were the different you could say specialties covered: ENT, intensive care, ophthalmology, cardiology, a variety of doctors from different backgrounds. This is the location. So 5 doctors from Bangalore, 7 doctors from Mysore. Age-wise, what was the age group that we were targeting? So we wanted to go more on the younger and also on the ones who are 26 to 30. The ones 30, 35 are good to have, just to have a good touch point. And what we could find, this is the main part, that this chaos of post-its through every session, the main thing, the main problem with research is you find all this information, how to make it into a very clear, consumable format, right? Let's go now to our findings. Based on the technology side, on the tech side, they use Android. They're mostly Android users, yeah. And they use WhatsApp to communicate with their personal life as well as within the hospital. Okay, they send PDFs, they send X-rays, they have groups for certain wards. Okay, and they actually use SMS in calling. That's a very, very. I was very surprised when they use SMS. So and Telegram. So Telegram, one thing why they use Telegram is when they send PDFs, they can send large PDFs. WhatsApp has a limit, and also quality reviews. And Telegram also you can quickly access the PDF. Few features like that. Then patient records, how do they do it? Handwriting. Suppose, Mayank, you go to a hospital or to a doctor, he writes a prescription there. The prescription comes to you, and if you lose a prescription, you can't call a doctor, hey doctor, I lost it. Like, what do I do now?
Yeah.
But imagine this completely digitalized and kept there for your record always. And what do they use for information sources? PubMed, Clinical Key, Medscape. These are something which doctors would know. And the concerns is that imagine there are 10 different sources of information which are all good for. How do I access the best from all 10? That's the problem. I can't open each book, I can't open each website, type the name, copy paste, and then see if it's all aligned, because sometimes there's a misalignment there.
Yeah.
Because this will basically save a patient's life, which is so important. So the weight of these findings is very important, I would say. Now, coming to that, so this was the interface that we had to test, right, at that time. And the quick commands. So the quick commands right now is something that they didn't understand, that a quick commands feature is here. So when the doctor presses on the quick commands right next to GIF, and a curtain comes from down showing the different kinds of quick command features. But now there were certain difficulties that you could see. It was not obvious that there was quick commands. Okay, it was quite hidden, and they didn't understand what is that button. It looked like a FB Messenger at that time. Some of them were saying the pattern. So certain features like that, and they could not recognize the ability to use the actual chatbot. Also, they thought it's one of the chats. And as we found issues on how to use camera, how to add multiple photos, this was a general pattern. It was an outdated experience of adding title, description, photos of patients, all of this. And also, like I would say, search. They could not search anything just based on the name. It had to be basically documented in the form of a hashtag. With a hashtag, you can quickly find in the search library and you populate. So the improvements were, so if you would see these improvements, there was a small guide saying, pull to see my commands. So the moment you swipe up, basically the commands come down. Now, how do we know certain commands are like pre-filled and they're different from others? So if you could see there's an example of what you can write, and the journal, which is basically the main quick command. So if you pick journals, and as a result, there were different kinds of quick commands below this, and you could clearly see, okay, this is something which I won't be able to type, and this is the part where I have to type. And as a result of that, it was working really well, and she loved the solution, because the main thing was discoverability, which was solved in this. So the moment the doctor swipes up, all the commands are here, and they'll be populated according to the most used. And improvements also, even to basically tag information. Suppose, Mayank, I send you something, just like how we have the star feature on WhatsApp. there is a quick quick, you could say, yeah, a starring feature even in this, which is teach the bot. So the bot learns this and documents it and keeps it for later. Then also features like how would we record information on a PDF, so that all these small UI improvements weren't there at that time. And yeah, I would say even for that matter, there's an improvement even on the search feature, that there are the most search terms, it comes in the hashtag versus just a blind search. And every single thing that gets saved, there's a hashtag for it. And yeah, even for that matter, even the attachment feature clearly labeled is also, yeah. So yeah, these are the improvements. I would say a lot more improvements are there, and this was done in 1 week. And the different onboarding, conversational onboarding also was there, which is quite nice. Actually, love. And I had to design the chat bubbles also as well. These are the very small things that, as you do, you realize that everything can be done and to the detail. That's what makes a product stand out. And yeah, my takeaways has helped me discovering how different doctors use different ways of communicating. And yeah, I would say she was very happy and she went back happily. And now the product has changed so much because certain things were not working, but the core features, the solutions I've given are still there, and I'm very, very happy for it. So this is one of my Lollipop projects. Yeah.